Hello, hello. Welcome to the GeForce SC2 Pro-Am presented by NVIDIA. I am Day9.
And I'm Husky.
And in the top right, we have Complexity's Cruncher. This is lower bracket round number dos. And in the bottom right, is that Kaiser Soze, Husky?
No, that's him in the bottom left there, Sean.
Oh my gosh, it's actually Slayer's Boxer in the bottom left. Slayer's Boxer versus Complexity's Cruncher. Whoever loses this best of 3 will be sent down.
Best of 5.
Best of 5.
It's fine.
I said that, and then I knew something was wrong, and I just stopped talking and just waited. And
that's
like,
the sign of a good commentator, is you just leave a lot of open air for everyone to laugh at you. But, Sean, this is a huge map. These are huge players, and they are spawning at huge distances away from each other, so a very high chance for macro game here.
Indeedy do. Teldarim Altar, of course. The reason everyone loves early expanding is that you can control this one entrance pretty well, but most importantly, controlling this is just about as difficult as controlling the entrance to your main base. So why not take 3 steps forward and just take another base? Well, I certainly don't have an answer as to why you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Sean, so far this tournament has proven to be extremely exciting stuff. I know for a fact there's a lot of Boxer fans. There's also a lot of Cruncher fans out there, so it is all on the line right now, as both of these players did get knocked down into the lower bracket fairly quickly in the tournament. So they have, even if they win this game, they're going to have a long road all the way to the finals. So either one of these players, I think, could make it. Slayer's Boxer, we've seen, has been performing fairly well. He does have pretty solid style. Now, usually in Protoss versus Terran, I've noticed that Boxer likes to go for very heavy Marine Marauder. I don't know if you've seen anything different out of him.
Nope.
Yep, it's just straight up.
That's the end of that answer.
Straight
but
up
you know
Marine and Marauder, man.
What's so exciting to me is that we've been seeing those Protoss players begin going Zealot Archon, especially Complexity's Cruncher. Is a big fan of the Zealot Archon, not just in PvT, but also PvZ. And I'm certain PvP, but I just don't really watch him play that matchup. And what we've seen Kaiser, a.k.a. Slayer's Boxer, do in response is do huge numbers of ghosts. Like, we're talking 10 ghosts in the army, just straight Ghost Marauder.
And you know, Sean, that kind of reminds me of back in the StarCraft 1 days where ghosts were not as heavily used. He would also do crazy ghost plays. Back then, they had a spell called Lockdown, which would prevent mechanical units from moving. This time, they have EMP. But his ghost micro, I will just say, he has had a lot of practice with those ghosts far before most of these players, so we will see if he decides to go for those ghosts. It's always good against Cruncher. You're mentioning the reason I would say that is just because Archons, man. He uses them a lot, and would you expect to see that in PvT versus a player like Boxer?
I definitely even think that we're probably going to see Cruncher get very, very, very fast Templar. He's been really loving 2-base techniques. Getting up the Zealot Archon mixture, getting the +1 armor, very much so a gateway-loving player. And we do see the early expand from Boxer, the bunker planted at the front. The timing is oh so good on this. It even helps you be stalker-proof.
Yes, that is true. I have seen many times a stalker slip inside the main, which that can sound awfully horrible unless you're watching a StarCraft 2 game. Then we all know that we're being politically correct here. Now, the bunker is done, and is there... Yeah, there is a stalker on the way, and if you're wondering why this bunker seems early, it's because, well, there was a Nexus before that stalker, so that definitely is going to slow down the timing of that a little bit.
Definitely spending all your money on buildings will impede the progress of spending money on them units. We see Cruncher is in the move to get probes up today. Has a lot queued up. I would actually label this as not so good. Should definitely unqueue those up. But yeah, you know, it's kind of amazing. The Zealot Stalker micros become so good from players lately that they just really need to get a bunker up fast, or else they can actually die when doing this fast expo.
Yeah, and I remember, again, I can't help but talk about StarCraft 1 days when it comes down to Boxer. When Dragoons would be outside your front base, they were a little more effective versus buildings, but now players, Sean, you're mentioning the Stalker micro. Stalkers are a lot smarter than Dragoons, so you rely on the smart intelligence rather than the more upfront damage, but I think that Boxer's going to be okay here. Now, he is getting that Marine Marauder mix. It looks like he's already started that Marauder slow, which, oh, what is this Stalker doing? Oh, needs to get out of there.
It's all, I'll heal shields. I'll heal the shields. Everything's fine. The Stalker taking massive damage down to just 12 hit points, and Boxer.
Oh, no, that Stalker's not going to be fine.
I just need some time to heal my shields. He's dead, and he's just a pile of legs.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Sean. And 2 more Stalkers are on the way. You can see that Cruncher really wanted to keep that Stalker alive. Is he adding on how many? Is he going to 4-gate here? This is What? I mean, he does have an expansion on this, so what do you think he's planning to do here, Sean?
Cruncher, I think, is really just trying to do a little backup. Oh, legs just everywhere.
He loves those legs.
Oh man, it's like a club on a Saturday night. I mean, Kaiser is just completely steamrolling Cruncher's little tiny pokes at aggression, and this is a very, very Slayers-esque push. You get a lot of barracks up first. You don't go for the very fast factory or fast medevac, but you do get the fast +1. Make these push attempts, and all the stalkers. It's not safe to be a stalker if Boxer's out tonight.
Absolutely right, and the probes have to be pulled off the line here. This is a lot of units. Boxer needs to be careful, but there's no sentry force field to cut this army in half or anything like that. The +1 armor for Cruncher is now on the way. Does he have an answer for these Marines? Currently, it is to dance back and forth, not wanting to engage these directly. More reinforcements have arrived. There's now 2 Marauders in that, it looks like, and a lot of Marines as well. This is going to be really tough for Cruncher right here, Sean.
Uh-oh, Cruncher really needs to get some good spread here. Slayer's Box really can't overcommit at this point in time, because if the angle is a little bit off for Boxer, he's going to lose all these. He's starting to realize that his unit count is a touch too low. He's going to pull back, begin getting those that stim up, eventually the combat shield, and you know, if you go 3 barracks fast, you're going to have a lot of units now, but as you begin going for the starport, you're spending money on things that are basically not getting more and more units. So you are weak until those medevacs pop out, and you can actually use the money that you've been investing for oh so long. There's the robotics facility, the Twilight Council, the second forge. I honestly don't think that this is necessary at all at this point. I actually would label this as a mistake. Boxer's going to have a lot more leeway.
Yeah, I think Cruncher's trying to rely on those Protoss upgrades, which are very good, versus the Marines and Marauders. If you can get Guardian Shield and a +1 armor, your Zealots are basically taking very little damage from those Marines. But we'll see if the timing of it's going to be okay. You can see he's attempting, it looks like, to secure that 3rd base as well. He does have 400 minerals in the bank and is going to be throwing that down right now. Now, Sean, do you have any predictions on what Boxer's going to do here? Because right now he still just has the 3 barracks.
Well, he's definitely going to be going for a huge upgrade front. He is just wanting to have big, direct engagements. He's not going to worry too much about crazy, goofy harassment. And this, wow, is something that we just rarely ever see. A very fast robotics facility while going for the +2 upgrades. I'm not actually certain that Cruncher has enough money to be able to do that. He's taking yet another expansion. Boxer, though, really needs to begin adding on barracks 4 and 5, really needs to begin getting these upgrades started. When will he get those barracks? He might even just opt to make a 3rd command center, but that's a touch risky at this phase.
Yeah, and I mean, Cruncher is sitting on 700 minerals. He just used a lot of it, working on those upgrades, warping in some stalkers as well, even chrono boosting there. You can see he's trying to react to what's headed his way. But Sean, he mentioned a lot of money invested in upgrades. That's why he can't afford a Colossus right now. Yeah. Just getting that, and he can't even get the thermal lance here. Yeah,
I mean, this is part of the reason why I was kind of so, while I was turning my head all sideways, like one of those owls from the memes. This is just, you just don't quite have enough money for this, and we see, a lucky break for Cruncher, spotting everything, managing to completely annihilate one of those medevacs. Wow. This is exactly what Cruncher needs to really step back in and get in a dominating position.
Oh, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Able to snipe a medevac full of units. That's going to even up the supply right here, and Boxer was relying on a lot of units here in the mid-game, but the Colossus, that just bought him a little bit of time to have to deal with that. If that drop got completely unloaded inside the main base, that would have sucked, but I got to hand to Cruncher for keeping that observer out on the field. It looks like Boxer is going to take out this gas. This is so frustrating for a Protoss. Now, thankfully, though, for Cruncher, he does have 2 gas going up at his 3rd base, so as long as he can hold on to that, that gas isn't going to play as vital of a role. But, I mean, when you're making thermal lance, double upgrades, and a lot of gateway units, you need every resource you can get.
Yeah, I mean, like, getting that gas geyser taken out is basically a way of guaranteeing that you cannot both get this quickly, but more importantly, have all of these 3 buildings producing constantly. You can't both get the upgrades and have nonstop Colossus production unless you have, unless you have geysers 4 and 5 here up and running. But we do know Cruncher has been still getting delayed due to that lack of gas, and now Boxer's going to need to pull back. He really needs to get those upgrades completed. He needs to get these extra barracks up and running properly, because Boxer's build has a lot of weird weak points in it. If you can get to the ultra late game, you're going to be fine, but it's getting there that's the hard part.
Yeah, Sean, you were mentioning those ghosts. They are going to be an imminent threat here. And one thing I like watching Boxer do is nuke entire Protoss armies. which, as a Protoss player, it does make me cry a little bit, but I am screaming far louder to drone out the pain. He still, surprisingly, has that bunker at the entrance there. Usually they'll have salvaged that by now. But is Boxer going to look to secure a third here? Yes, he is. He's transferring the SCVs over there. And what do you think about the expansion being on that one rather than the one right outside your natural?
They're kind of the same in these positions, only if you are being very aggressive and very forward. Slayer's Boxer really did not have time to take down these destructible rocks. He needed to begin that push ASAP, and now we're going to see a small engagement in the middle.
Looks like he'll be able to take out one of the medevacs. He's microing very well here. Cruncher does need to back out there. It's 143 supply to 141. That was a very tense moment there for both players. There's always a threat of drops, but Cruncher's upgrade starting to look really, really good as he has been able to keep the Chrono Boost going on that. That is one nice advantage. Is even though he wasn't able to get the upgrades right away on those forges, he is now able to get that with those Chrono Boosts. He's even securing a fourth base right here, and he is doubling his Colossus production as he now has a second robotics down. So his army is going to start looking fairly scary here soon. I mean, look at supply as it is launching ahead, but Boxer is on the move.
Now 3-3 for Cruncher. I mean, Cruncher is being spot on with those upgrades. This is actually some of the best in the business that I've seen. I mean, a lot of people will get the +2 kind of quickly, you know, start it, maybe Chrono Boost it twice or something. But I've hardly seen Cruncher drop the ball. Only when he was out of resources was he unable to do it, you know. So, I mean, economy management might need a little work, but in terms of remembering what to do, I mean, Cruncher is just nailing these timings. And when you are at 3-3, you're a max Protoss, you have 2 robotics facilities producing those Colossi. I mean, Cruncher has basically gotten the perfect mix of units to take a win in the late game.
Yeah, Sean, I've been watching Boxer. He was hovering at around 1,500 minerals. You mentioned heavy ghost counts. He does have that, but when you're 30 supply behind and you haven't really had a major engagement, that's just showing you how important it is for him to start spending these resources.
And we see, at the very least, this will indicate that there's another expansion somewhere, or Cruncher just has a lot of probes that he doesn't quite need doing anything at this point in time. There's the double drop coming up by Slayer's Boxer. Cruncher ringing the map with pylons, but he needs to get some defenses up there to the top side. His units are quite well positioned, and it looks like Cruncher is getting ready to split his units up.
Now, Sean, one thing that I've seen a lot of Protoss players do these days is they build 1 or 2 cannons for defense, and and then they get a high Templar for feedback on those medevacs. We aren't seeing Cruncher utilize that. That means that these drops can be extremely effective. 1 DT just harassing here, trying to force a scan. That's not going to play a huge role here, I think. What will play a big role is if all these probes die, which it looks like they very well may, and with no blink, I believe, then these medevacs are going to get away just fine, even dropping them on the high ground.
We see the Colossus arrive to the fight, and there's the blink up. He really needs to pick off these medevacs. Will Box be able to get away in time? Very no. Extremely no, Husky. And we're seeing, amazingly, the Gravatic Drive get researched. For any of you who don't know that upgrade,
I wonder if he misclicked it.
Well, we're actually seeing a Warp Prism.
Oh, no, he is getting one.
Wow, yeah. Cruncher going for the shuttle speed upgrade, the Warp Prism speed upgrade, and now beginning to do some harassment at this left base.
Now, it is going to be a planetary fortress, so it looks like he'll be able to hold off. These Stalkers would be wise to back out there. He is going to be able to hold on to those. So now both players nearing max, and you got to remember, though, that Cruncher is going to have that 3-3 very soon. Boxer starting his +3, and it looks like +2 armor over there. But his upgrades are going to be a little bit behind. It's just Boxer's army does not look that terrifying, especially when he's going up against a 3-3, even mixing in a shield there. So I definitely think that Cruncher has the advantage here, unless he has made way too many workers or something like that.
I mean, if we do go to that station, we see it's 89 workers. Ooh,
wow.
That could be a little bit too much for Cruncher. He is producing 6 more gateways. Here's the big engagement. Where are the Colossi? Oh, no! On the wrong side of everything.
Wow.
A gigantic misstep from Cruncher.
Oh, a huge, huge blunder there, Sean.
Husky. Just hurts to see.
Yeah, and now that he's killed all the ground units, he can kill the, technically, air units, the Colossus. I'm just saying that because Vikings can shoot them, and wow, Sean, I have never seen someone make, like, that positioning disadvantage. That's the thing about this map, is it will split your army in half if you don't watch it very closely, like a little infant, and if you leave your infant in the sun, this is exactly what happens.
Your infant is just getting shot at by hundreds and hundreds of bullets, and oh, the EMPs go off. Oh, Slayer's Boxer just needed 1 mistake from Cruncher, and 1 was enough. Cruncher with the gigantic misstep now has 6 Dark Templar warping in, seeing if by some miracle he can pull it together with a huge amount of cloak units. Now we have 4 Colossi in the mix. We see all the DTs ripping up the Viking count. Cruncher still has a lot of potential to make a comeback, and there's the snipes. See you later, DTs.
Every
Very
single
nice
unit,
usage.
Sean, just got sniped right there. And the crazy thing is Cruncher was on his upgrades. He was on his production facilities. He had 3 robotics. So if his army is slowly getting whittled down, he is reproducing it immediately. But when you make a huge mistake like that, and then the mistake kind of snowballed out of control into losing those Colossus, I mean, what are you going to do here? He's trying to win with Zealots, but against the Ghosts, who just do phenomenal damage, especially with EMP, I feel like Cruncher is going to be kicking himself all the way into game number 2.
Oh, Cruncher with just a fatal error. I mean, you basically get an army just to be Colossus handlers. I mean, there's no real other reason to have any Zealots in the game. You basically want to be just building only Colossi.
Oh, man, and the
Cruncher
DTs
just had him at the wrong side.
Yeah, DT's getting spotted there as well. This game is getting out of control. There is going to be the GG.
Oh, what a painful GG.
I don't think I've ever seen a game like that, Sean, end in such a weird fashion. But that shows you against Boxer, if you misclick once, you're done. You're done, son. So Boxer able to take that game, even though it looked like he was very far behind. And yeah, it looks like are you trying to bring up that battle again?
We're gonna do a little bit of rewind action because I mean, it's StarCraft 2 is a game where one misclick can just spell complete and utter doom. I mean, this is an anti-ground army to the max. But here is the one moment, even if we do our friendly army size tab, we see that, yeah, you know what? It does look like our friendly Terran player, Slayer's Boxer, has an overall larger army size, but that can be deceiving because the Speed Zealots are such cheap units and can work wonders with the Colossus. And here's the move command down to here. Zealots, some go left, some go right. Just wanted to get up on this high ground and push down. And there goes all the Zealots. Undefended Colossi take the fall. So that will put Slayer's Boxer up 1-0 against Complexity's Cruncher.
Yeah, I do want to say, Sean, that Cruncher looked like he could have taken that game off of Boxer. So, I mean, I don't expect a 3-0 sweep here, but he can't make mistakes like that anymore. It's done. He has to learn his lesson, be a good kid, and not separate his Protoss family.
Guys, say no to drugs. We'll be back for game number 2 of Complexity's Cruncher versus Slayer's Boxer at the GeForce SC2 Pro-Am.